This is Tasha. I think most of you know me. I've been at Mount Zion probably since 2008, a whole year after Sister Anita invited me to come and visit. Mm, when I was asked to do my Hope recording, I was thinking about, well, what testimony could I share? Could I share the testimony that have to do with my children and what they've come through? Could I share the testimony of my marriage and what Corey and I have come through? And none of that rang like it was something that I was supposed to do because it would require me to share their parts of their testimony too. So I guess I'm going to talk a little bit about my hope in God, my hope in the Lord, and what He is doing in my life. God has been really, really good to me, and I have struggled with trust. I have struggled with control. I've been hurt in the church. I've been hurt outside of the church. But each and every time, God has shown up. And it wasn't until recently that I realized the magnitude of how He has shown up in my life. I love being a mom. I love being a wife. I love being a social worker. But it wasn't until I was in my 40s that it even began to come together and I began to recognize how it all fit. And one thing I can say is that none of it fits without the presence of God in my life. None of it. My favorite scripture is Psalm 34 because it begins with praising God. It begins with looking at His promises to be near the brokenhearted, to save the crushed in spirit. When I was in college, I was walking home because I didn't have a car and my mom didn't have a car. But I just remembered that God got me to where I was. He got me out of high school. He got me into college. He got me a job. In all of my experience, I came to recognize that God provides. And I learned that in stages. The house that I have, we weren't supposed to have it when we got it. Nothing about us said that we should have it. But He made provision because He knew what was coming. He knew what was going to be needed. With my jobs, He knew what was coming. He knew what was going to be needed. But then it really, really began to sink in when life really began to hit and our kids began to grow up and go their different ways and make their different choices. And I was trying to wrangle them in and control them. It hit me then that He provides. All will be well. He's provided friends who will come alongside me and correct me, who will pray for me, who will pray with me. He provides resources, so much so that Corey and I can help in places and spaces that God tells us to. God provides peace in the midst of a storm. I can't tell you, any of you, that I'm out of my storm, because I'm not, but I'm in a better situation in my storm because I look past the storm. I remember that I love the rain. I remember that I love thunderstorms. And it brings me peace. And it brings me peace because I know God is with me in the storm. So I don't have a traditional testimony. I just have a promise that God provides every single thing that we need. And we don't have to worry. We don't have to try to manipulate the situation. We don't have to hurt others to get to where we think we need to be. He opens doors. He closes doors. He moves us along sometimes when we're not ready or we don't want to. But He provides. I love all of you. And And I pray that if there's ever anything that I can do to help you believe and recognize that He provides, that you'll come and tell me. And I'll be happy to spend the time that's needed, that God allows me to help you get to that point too.